Hello guys and welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. Once again I'm Greg and this is the Starting 11 show where I'll give you my predicted lineup for this weekend's Merseyside Derby as well as a little bit of injury news off today's press conference. So from what Ancelotti has said on the injury front, it's all good news. All the players who gave us a little bit of a concern, were a little bit of a worry in terms of niggles going into the international break, like Seamus Coleman, Yerry Mina, Andre Gomez, Luca Dean, are all fit to play. They're all been cleared, and I think that really signals that we're going to see business as usual here. The strongest team that we usually play in the league. That being said, we've had a couple of players who have dropped in form, one particularly, and a few new signings being brought in, so there's still points to discuss here. So let's go through the team one by one. Starting off in goal, I think, this is the most controversial place in the team. I think Pickford's the only player who's really standing on the precipice at the moment of losing his place in this first team. We've brought Olsen in as a potential replacement, or maybe a replacement to Lursel, but someone who can push Pickford a little bit more than Virginia was doing. I think here we'll see Pickford almost like a last chance scenario, but it's a risky one. He's got a mistake in him, and it's made us suffer in other games, not to the point where we've lost points because of it. I'm talking this season. Obviously, we've lost a lot of points due to Jordan Pickford in previous seasons, but this season it's not cost us points. But against a team like Liverpool, they're going to be ruthless. We've seen him make high-profile mistakes in the derby before, in recent memory. I think it's obviously a risk playing him. I just worry that Olsen's not up to much himself. I'd rather face the enemy I knew than the enemy who was a mystery to me. If you understand where I'm coming from, I'm going to stick with Pickford here, just for the element of continuity, really. And then at right back, great news. Seamus Coleman is fit to play, as I alluded to earlier. So he'll obviously take up his place on the right. As a back two, the only real question here is, does Godfrey come straight in? For me, as I say every week, why change a winning formula at the moment? I'm very excited about Godfrey as a potential player with a great ceiling who can integrate his way into this team. But for now, I think he's going to have to wait for his chance, and I can see Michael Keane, who's really impressed me since the restart, next to Yerry Mina, who's impressed me since the beginning of this season, He seems to have eradicated some mistakes from his game. He looks quite confident and composed on the ball. And I'm very happy with him starting at the moment. Then on the left side is another player who we didn't know would be fit, but Luca Dean is in, and that's great to see. He obviously got that fantastic assist for Mbappe during the international break. First time sort of volley across the box straight to Mbappe. He's got a skill set that we love to see. And if he wasn't in, you always want him there, but Nkunku would have been a decent backup. But with Dean being fit, he's the obvious choice to be there. Then in front of him in that midfield, again, business as usual. Allen is fit. There was a concern about him. Obviously, he picked up that injury just before the international break. He went off in the same game as Richarlison and John Joe Kenny, I believe. Allen is back, cleared for today. He missed the international break, and I think he's going to be a real asset in this game. We've needed someone who can really not get swayed by the event of the game. This isn't going to be something that shakes him as a player. Makes him a bit shaky in the midfield. I think he's going to have the same composure, the same grit, and sort of scare those Liverpool midfielders a little bit more than we've had in recent memory. So good thing to have Allen back. Partnering him, of course, on the right side of that two would be Abdoulaye Doucouré. Stepped up when Allen was injured and had a few different midfield partners, but always did what he did and did it well. He runs box to box. He covers a little bit for where James doesn't track back because he's got that free license. Why would he lose his space in the team? I know Delph has integrated a little bit more into the first team, but why not go with our strongest setup, which is, of course, Doucouré and Allen. Then just in front of them, again, maybe another point for a little bit of discussion here, because you've got Gylfi Sigurdsson, you've got Bernard, you've got to an extent Iwobi, but here I imagine we'll go with Gomez. I don't want to bang the same drum constantly, but why change a winning formula? That's the midfield three that's been winning us games, so obviously stick with that and just be happy that we've got so much quality to come off the bench, like Sigurdsson and Bernard in that central area. Front three, I think we all know what I'm going to say. James Rodriguez out on the right. Just splendid player. great to watch. In the middle, Calvert-Lewin, who had his England call-up, scored on his debut. You know, I almost didn't want him to play in those later games just to conserve his fitness, but his confidence is such a high at the moment. So keep him in there. And then another player on the left who also scored during the international break, Richarlison. And that's my team. I'll go over it quickly. That's Pickford in goal, a back line of Coleman, Mina, Keane and Dean, which would have been very different if not all of those players had declared fit in time. A midfield of Allen, Doucouré and Gomez, and then a front line of James, Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison. But I think that's quite hard to disagree with. Normally I ask you guys where your big disagreements would be, but I think the only real debate I have for you guys is Pickford or Olsen. Who would you play? Maybe would you integrate Godfrey this early on? But, you know, let's hope for a really good result on Saturday. Just keep riding this high, and I will see you guys next time.